CQD, SOS, 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 CQD, CQD. This is Titanic. 41.46 north, 50.14 west.
This is Olympic, calling Titanic. Who has struck an iceberg?
This is Titanic. We have struck an iceberg. Tell Captain.
Received. Okay.
CQD, CQD.
Baltic to Titanic.
SOS.
Baltic to Titanic.
SOS, SOS. This is Titanic.
This is Olympic.
This is Titanic.
This is Virginian.
SOS.
Calling Titanic.
CQD.
This is Virginian.
CQD.
Calling Titanic.
This is Titanic.
Cape Race to Virginian.
SOS.
Report to your captain.
SOS.
The Titanic has struck iceberg and requires immediate assistance.
Received.
Olympic to Titanic.
CQD. SOS.
Olympic to Titanic.
This is Titanic.
Carpathia to Titanic.
We have struck an iceberg and are sinking.
We are coming your way.
SOS.
Coming at full speed.
CQD.
Doing 15 knots.
Received.
Frankfurt to Titanic.
Position.
We are coming to you.
For 1.46.
Olympic to Titanic.
Titanic to Olympic. We are in collision with the berg. Sinking head down.
Virginian calling Cape Race.
For 1.46 north.
Tell Titanic.
50.
We are going to her assistance.
14 west.
We are 170 miles north.
Come soon as possible.
Olympic to all stations.
Virginian calling Cape Race.
Olympic to all stations.
This is Baltic.
Stop talking.
This is Baltic.
Stop talking. Stop transmitting. Jamming. All stations stop talking. This is Olympic calling Titanic.
Titanic to Olympic. Captain says, get your boats ready. What is your position?
Baltic to Caronia. Please tell Titanic. We are making towards her. We are 243 miles east of Titanic.
Cape Race to Titanic. The Virginian is going to your assistance. Their position, 170 miles north of Titanic.
Received. Titanic to Baltic. Captain Smith says, get all your boats ready. Sinking.
This is Caronia. Titanic, we are making for you. Keep in touch with us.
Received.
Olympic to Titanic. Our position is 505 miles south of you. Are you steering southerly to meet us?
This is Titanic. We are putting the women off in the boats.
Received.
We are putting the women off in the boats. We are putting passengers off in small boats. Women and children in boats. Cannot last much longer. Losing power.
What is your weather?
Clear and calm. This is Titanic. CQD. Engine room getting flooded. Engine room getting flooded.
Titanic. Are there any boats around you already?
CQD. SOS. CQD. SOS.
Nearly 2 hours after the collision, the situation was becoming desperate. The ship was sinking fast, and the wireless operators knew better than anyone that there was no imminent chance of rescue. Harold Bride later described the bravery of Jack Phillips. I suddenly felt for him a great reverence to see him standing there sticking to his work while everyone else was raging about.
CQD. SOS. Engine room flooded. Engine room flooded. CQD. SOS. CQD. SOS.
Baltic Titanic. Baltic coming 200 miles east. We are rushing to you.
Olympic to Titanic. I'm lighting up all possible boilers as fast as we can.
Cape Race to Virginian. Please tell your captain this. The Olympic is making all speed for Titanic. But the Olympic is 500 miles away from her. Virginian, you are much closer to Titanic. The Titanic is already putting women off in the boats. And he says the weather there is calm and clear. The others must be a long way from Titanic.
Received. Okay. Putting on speed.
CQD. CQD. SOS. SOS. This is Titanic.
Carpathia to Titanic. Baltic coming to your assistance.
Titanic to Carpathia. Come as quickly as possible, old man. The engine room is filling up to the boilers.
Received. Carpathia Titanic.
Burma calling Titanic.
Titanic to Carpathia. Come quick. She's taking water. It's full up to the boilers.
Carpathia Titanic. All our boats are ready. We are coming as hard as we can, old man. Double watch on engine room. Have your lifeboats ready when we arrive.
Come as quickly as possible, old man. CQD. SOS. 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 CQD.
This is Asian, calling Titanic. Frankfurt to Titanic. We are 100 miles off. What is the matter with you?
Fool. You fool. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by and keep out. Keep out.
Baltic to Caronia. We're heading for Titanic. But I can't agree to signals.
Caronia, to Baltic, Titanic, give CQD, and SOS. Her engine room is filling up to the boilers.
Asian to Cape Race. Have called Titanic. But no reply. He cannot hear me.
Baltic to Cape Race. Titanic's signal very weak. Do you have news of Titanic?
We have not heard from Titanic for about half an hour. His power may be gone.
V. SOS. SOS. CQD. CQD. Titanic. We are sinking fast. Passengers are being put into boats. Titanic.
Virginian to Titanic. Cannot read your signal. You need to try your emergency set.
SOS. SOS. CQD. CQD. Titanic. Engine running really full. Come quick. Engine running really full. CQD. This is Titanic. CQD. This is Titanic.
We didn't realize she was going to sink. None of us did, you know. Because, she, as I say, she'd been advertised as an unsinkable ship.
Welcome back to this World Service Discovery programme on the 100th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic. It's now 2:20 in the morning on the 15th of April 1912. The Titanic's powerful transmitter has gone silent. Jack Phillips had stayed at his post even after the captain had released him from his duty. Minutes before the ship had gone down, and with the wireless room flooding, he had still been sending messages. While there had been chaos and confusion and terrible goodbyes as the last lifeboats had left the ship, Phillips had carried on trying to get help. He died some time after the ship had gone down, with unconfirmed reports that he had made it to a lifeboat, but had died of cold and shock before a rescue ship could arrive. His assistant Harold Bride had been more fortunate. He had ended up on an upturned lifeboat, where he spent a freezing night, praying aloud with his fellow survivors. There was confusion among the listening ships. They carried on calling, not knowing that the Titanic had already sunk, promising that they were on their way, and telling the Titanic to get ready for their arrival.
Cape Race to Titanic. Virginian suggests you try your emergency set. Have difficulties reading you.
This is Virginian. Have you heard anything about Titanic?
No. Keeping strict watch, but hear nothing more from Titanic. No reply from him.
Titanic. If you are there, we are firing rockets. Carpathia Titanic. We are rushing to you. Have double watch in engine room. Doing 16.5 knots. Have your lifeboats ready.
This is Baltic. Please tell Titanic we are making towards her. We are 243 miles east of Titanic.
Caronia to Titanic. Baltic is coming to your assistance.
Burma to Titanic. Steaming full speed for you. Shall arrive you 60 in morning. Hope you are safe. We are only 50 miles now.
Cape Race to Titanic. The Burma is coming to your assistance.
Carpathia calling Titanic. Heading to you full speed, old man. We are seeing a flare coming from your direction. We are almost there.
This is Prince Friedrich Wilhelm, calling Baltic.
Wilhelm, stand by on phones. Don't call.
Okay.
Nobody has heard the Titanic for about 2 hours.
Everything is quiet.
Frankfurt to Burma. Can you hear Titanic?
No. We've lost touch. We are 30 miles southwest of Titanic.
Olympic to Asian. Have you any further news of Titanic?
No. She finished calling SOS at midnight. Have lost touch.
Olympic to Cape Race. Have not heard from Titanic.
Sorry. We've lost touch.
With daylight came the slow dawning of what had happened. The Carpathia, which had raced to the rescue, could confirm to the waiting world the first sighting of survivors, and the news that nobody wanted to believe.
This is Carpathia. This is Carpathia. Titanic struck iceberg. Carpathia has passengers from lifeboats.
Can you see Titanic?
Carpathia calling all ships. Titanic foundered about 2:20 a.m. Carpathia picked up many passengers in boats.
Baltic to Carpathia. I'm returning to give assistance. We'll be there about 4:30.
Have you any idea how many were lost? Did you see Titanic?
Carpathia calling all ships. The Titanic has gone down with all hands, as far as we know, with the exception of 20 boatloads, which we have picked up. Number not accurately fixed yet. We cannot see any more boats about at all.
This is Baltic. Can I be of any assistance to you, as regards to taking some of the passengers from you? We'll be in position about 4:30 local time.
No need for passenger transfer. Tell your skipper we are leaving here, with all on board. Everything okay. Proceed with your course to Liverpool.
Received.
Carpathia to Olympic. Arrived at Titanic's position at daybreak. We saw ice, 25 miles long, solid. Saw quantity of wreckage and number of boats full of lives. We raised about 670 souls. Titanic has sunk. She went down in 2 hours. Captain, chief, and all engineers are gone. We have 2 or 3 officers aboard, and the second Marconi operator, who had been creeping his way through water for several hours. Mr. Ismay is aboard.
Olympic to Carpathia. Shall I meet you? And where?
No. Don't attempt to go north. Many bergs, large and small. I fear absolutely no hope searching Titanic's position. The Californian is searching round. All boats accounted for. About 670 souls saved. Crew and passengers. Latter nearly all women and children.
Received.
AIM proceeding to New York, full speed, with Titanic's passengers on board.
But it would take 3 more days before the survivors reached New York. This wait created an insatiable